And the album of the week this week is Send Away the Tigers by the Manic Street Preachers. Nicky and James with us in the studio. Good morning.
Guten Tag.
We speak every language. I was expecting Welsh, but no.
Burrada?
That'll do. Lynn Bowles gives us that most days, but it's nice to have a bit of German as well. So, Send Away the Tigers. Now, this title is wonderfully quoting Hancock, isn't it?
Yeah, it just reminds me of it. In university, me and Richey used to just have this little cassette recorder in our flat, and we used to listen to Hancock's Half Hour on a cassette. Do they still exist? I don't know. And then reading more about Hancock's life and everything, you know, the tragedy and the triumph. And just that phrase, send away the tigers, when his kind of doubts and his depressions would creep up on him. And it just felt applicable to us just to stop worrying and just make a really great rock record again and stop trying to reinvent ourselves.
So, do you feel that the Manics had sort of gone down a tunnel or something? Were you guys sort of going off in a direction you weren't entirely happy with?
Perhaps since 2001, to use a sporting analogy, perhaps we'd kind of been overcoaching ourselves. We weren't playing the Welsh way. We weren't playing with a smile on our face. And that's always a danger, you know, when you're deconstructing the things that you usually do, or you're trying to kind of steer away from your true nature. Sometimes when you deconstruct and delineate everything, you're in danger of not finding anything at all. Which can be an interesting process for an artist, but it can be kind of quite self-indulgent for an audience to watch on.
But you, of course, both went off and did your solo projects. Was that a sort of good thing to do? You had to do that just to sort of put aside the past and look for a new direction?
A proper house doctor decluttering, you know. We just decluttered ourselves of our kind of all our guilty pleasures of James being a 70s singer-songwriter who listens to Yellow, and me pretending I'm Lou Reed. So it was a lovely experience, and it was great fun. But I think in the back of our minds, it helped us then to concentrate on making a really great Manics record.
When you went off to do this solo projects, which were both very, very successful, it must have made you think, do we need the Manics anymore? Is the Manics something that must remain in the past?
When I did a gig and people were literally laughing at me, I really felt I needed the Manics. I needed someone who could control me. Put it that way.
I mean, kind of like, you know, in a strange kind of inverse way, the solo thing for me was like a holiday. But I usually, at my most happiest, when I've got routine and I'm working, I did long to come back to my proper job, which was being in the Manics, you know. Perhaps it's a Welsh Presbyterian thing going on, I'm not sure.
Off to the office.
Yeah, that's it. The garden shed mentality, we like to call it.
So are the Manics now the same as they were, or markedly different?
Obviously, you know, when you get to 38, you can't pretend you're 20. But I think we've tried to remember what it was like to be like that, to be idealistic and somewhat naive even, and to do everything with a kind of joie de vivre before cynicism sets in, you know, just to kind of care less and be more instinctive. So obviously I think we're more constructive now, less nihilistic, but the original spirit's still in us.
And this album, you've sort of pared it down quite severely, it seems. It's not a long album. You must have had a lot more songs you could have put on.
In the past, we've definitely indulged ourselves and created 60-minute double players and stuff like that.
Double players? You
double
sound
players.
Like my dad.
Yeah, double LPs.
An LP, yes. And a radiogram.
But kind of at this point, we really want to be almost kind of more physical about it. We just want to be more direct. And when we got to the point where we'd done 10 songs, it just felt natural. You know, I went looking for the mythical extra song, and it just wasn't there.
And the songs, do they all sort of lead you in a certain direction, or is there a spread on the album?
Oh, I think there is continuity on the record. We look for something, some kind of thread through it. You know, we might have denied it, but we are emotional, passionate people, and perhaps we've been controlling that too much, and there's a lot more emotion, a lot more passion on this record, and there's just a lot more guitars.
Good old guitars. Yeah. And you're going to go out, and the big tour is happening. You start the tour tomorrow, Cambridge Corn Exchange.
We do. It's like Bob Dylan's never-ending tour. I think it's the longest UK tour we've done, probably in 10, 12 years or something. So. And it feels full of anticipation because, you know, it's just great. The three of us get on a bus, we know each other so well, we trust each other. It's a very pleasant experience, I have to say.
And it must be even more pleasant when you look at this list of venues, and after every single one it says sold out. That's quite nice, actually.
I thought you were going to talk about the days off.
There aren't an awful lot of them, actually, when you look at it. No, you've got the Sunday off. You've given yourself a Sunday off. That's nice of you. Well, tell us about the track we're going to play today, which is Indian Summer.
It's kind of a song lyrically about friendship, and just the fact I've known James since I was 4 in the same school. It's just really weird to think that we've just grown up together so much and written all these songs together. Just the fact, I think it's helped us keep the band going, the fact that we were all friends before we were in the band, you know. I think if you're just thrown together as musicians, it can be difficult because you realise sometimes after the first album you don't like the guitarist, but because we liked each other from the start, it's easier. And it's just that idea of having an Indian summer, reconnecting with everything and just feeling that beautiful feeling at the end of September. There's no greater feeling than being in a beach in Wales and there's a little Indian summer.